Guys, you know what I'm totally terrified of?
What?
Guess.
Spiders.
Kind of. Yeah. So my biggest fear, it's funny because I was in a place in like outside of LA like last year, and I was on a business trip, and I was trying to save company money. It was
Why?
It was my own company.
Oh, okay.
It was my own company, right?
Okay.
So
That
I
makes
had to pay for it, right? So I stayed at this like scary place, but I felt comfortable, right? So the funny thing is, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not afraid of like people, but I'm terrified of like animals, right? Specifically snakes. Like I have this phobia of snakes. It's crazy. I'm also scared of dogs. I know you're a dog person, but I'm scared of dogs.
You're scared of dogs?
Yes, I am. You're gonna have to break my phobia one day. But that's my biggest fear. I don't know. What's your biggest fear?
Other people's dirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like
like
germs?
germs.
Okay.
Germs. Okay.
Oh my! See, as you're talking, I have many fears.
Yeah.
We can unpack them.
Yeah.
And that could be a whole show on its own. But like, I don't like. So my kids play organized sports, and now they're starting to travel. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna want
The
to
places
stay
that they
in some
go to,
hotel that I would never stay in a million years, and like that keeps me up.
That's so funny. I was working downtown for almost 10 years, like 9 years. And those 9 years, I was on the subway pretty much every day I went to work. And I never touched any of the poles, ever, right? Like either I would just like touch like this, or like I would just like try to, balance myself, which is easier. It looks easy, but it's not. Or if I had gloves on. Right, so I hear you. Like
So you like this whole COVID, stay away from me, mask.
So the funny thing is, after COVID, I've been like for example, the last few times I was, taking the subway, I don't mind holding the thing. I don't know what it was. It's like the opposite, right? You expect the opposite. I was such a germaphobe for like
you'd be
so
more
long.
careful, more
Yeah,
more
I was a
conscious
germaphobe
about
for
those
15,
things.
like 10 years, where I literally hadn't touched a pole in the subway for like almost 10 years, and then now I'm a bit more open. But it's still, I hear you. I don't like germs.
It's like anticipatory anxiety, where you like don't actually know what's going to happen, so you might as well be scared of it.
Yeah, I was just scared of being sick or catching something. So I'd come home and I would just like wash my hands. Like I would wash my hands like 10 times a day. Anyways.
Even before COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was it the fear of being sick, or was it the fear like when you were sick you would miss out on something else?
I don't know. I never thought about it because I didn't really get sick too often. But
That's because you washed your hands so much.
all right, what's your biggest fear, Alex?
I think like spiders growing up, and I'm still like they're still horrifying, but I can deal with the tiny ones that appear in the corner now. But heights.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
So you
heights?
wouldn't go on a roller coaster? Or just being up high and not like stationary?
Okay, so here's the perfect example is doing that
Skywalk
stupid
thing?
glass floor.
Oh.
Not even the skywalk.
Well, looking down.
Just the glass floor on the CN Tower. Yeah. So I had to go there for a client meeting this year, and going up the elevator is fine. Like I stay in the back and I'm like, this is cool. Like everyone should love this. I'm going to like look up rather than down. And then we had our meeting, and then they're like, let's do a tour. And then all of a sudden they're like, come on, like come and stand on this glass floor. And I'm sweating, like my palms are sweating. I'm no longer thinking rationally. I'm like, you're going to see my, like this visceral, childlike version of myself, pit sweating, like through my t-shirt. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to lose my cool. You're going to see like the worst version of myself. I can't do it. I'm going to stand like over here. I don't want to do it. Please don't make me do it.
You know that the next podcast is going to be in the CN Tower, right?
I'm going to call in sick.
Did they make you do it?
It's weird.
Yes.
The
They
fear is
made
a weird.
you do it.
Yeah, it was awful.
The funny thing is with like the height fear is weird because like some people are like I've had a few people that were similar to me where they're fine taking the airplane, they're fine to go on a tall building, but like going on a ladder like 10 or 12 feet, they're scared. Like they're more afraid of that.
That'd be me.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm the same way too. Like I hate going up on a ladder like 10 or 10, 12 feet, 15 feet.
I think when you feel it's not in your control.
I was just going to say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Just flying an airplane.
But airplane, like it's just
Airplane,
so normal
you
to me.
trust.
I fly so
You
often.
trust.
Yeah.
I suppose
know.
that, okay,
I
it's
don't.
whatever is going to happen to 50 other people.
Yeah.
Maybe on the ladder I'm by myself. Oh, I'm
No,
gonna fall.
airplanes I don't fear just because the safety rating is. And I've taken so many flights. I used to be scared at the beginning, but I don't even think about it. I don't even look out.
No, it
sometimes.
doesn't even.
I
I don't
think,
even
like-
let it get to me that the flying and
Yeah.
fear of flying and everything. But yeah, height is also mine. But I'm pushing myself to overcome it. Like do things like I was telling him. I was in Costa Rica last week, and
Did you
we
do
did
the-
zip lining
Okay.
for the first time, and I'm like a biggest advocate of zip lining for 2 months. We've been planning the vacation. Like, we're going to do zip lining. My wife is like, I'm out. And 2 months, I have been convincing her. I couldn't convince at the end. I had the guide, instructor, everybody convinced. Nobody could. Anyways, we went up. As they're putting the gears on, I'm like, what did I sign up for? Why did I? And my 10-year-old daughter, she's game.
Oh yeah, 'cause
Of
kids are
course.
fearless.
They're fearless. She's game. I cannot back out now. And I'm like out. Meanwhile,
That's
my
not
wife
very
is.
masculine if you did.
There you go. My wife is asking me questions. I'm like, stop asking me questions. I'm not myself now
Right.
because I am panicking like crazy. And why did I sign up? Anyways, there were 12 lines. So after the first one, I'm like, okay, it's better. It's okay. Nothing is gonna happen.
Okay.
Anyways, I went through.
So you did it.
I did.
You
it.
did.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
And you showed me
Good
pictures.
for
It looks pretty
you.
Yeah, I
awesome.
showed him the
Is there any other fears you have? You're not going to cheap out and just
What?
like copy Alex's fear.
Fear. That's kind of sad one. Untimely death.
Okay.
Of like relatives or your own.
My aunt. That's my
Yeah.
the biggest of all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
go deep with that too.
Yeah.
I was.
Because
Yeah.
I recently like a soccer mom friend passed away and she was only 43 years old, right? And she has a young child, so it makes me think about like how much
I've been thinking about it a lot
time
more
do
recently.
I have
Yeah.
left?
I think
But
when
I
you
didn't
hit
want to
40,
bump people out.
Early
that are watching.
40s, I'm like I'm gonna live forever. I have an unlimited clock. Then you start getting into your mid 40s. You're
Yeah,
like,
and
you know
you're
what?
like the life expectancy is what?
74,
Right,
83.
so technically I'm more than halfway
More than half.
there.
Yeah, I convinced myself a long time ago.
So that's why I'm like, you're seeing a spider. Should I bring up death? Is it a
Spiders
match?
could cause death.
you know what?
Especially
I'm glad we
in
ended with that because I
Same
didn't
with
want to end with
falling
death.
from heights.
So is it a match? Yeah, untimely death is my biggest fear.
Are you afraid of death, or are you afraid of like not accomplishing everything that you feel like you should accomplish in your
So
life?
I'm not afraid of death for myself. That okay, I haven't seen anything. I'm afraid of my child will not have a father.
No,
I'm
but
afraid.
Well, that happened to
lost
you,
your
right?
dad.
Yeah, that's very
I'm
that's
afraid
so-
that
of not being there.
when she's 30, as an example, she's independent and everything.
Yeah.
I will embrace that. I'm saying that now might change.
Yeah, because then you're gonna want to see other things.
Other
right?
things, right?
Yeah.
At this point, this is okay, so that she or my family doesn't have to depend on anybody. Everything is taken care
Yeah,
of.
that's another thing I also fear. Like, I want to, if I'm gonna go early, I want to leave them with like, okay, they're set forever, but
Yeah.
they don't have to
care
worry
of.
about. Yeah, they're taken care of exactly.
So that's probably it comes from probably my personal experience that since I lost my dad at an early age, but yeah, that's like the biggest fear I probably think about more often than I can even think of.
Is it like so? You know, of course, I don't like staying in dirty hotels, and just before a trip, I think about it and think I'm gonna Lysol and whatever. But that fear, does it like? Do you lay awake thinking about that? Is there any fear that you have that's keeping you awake?
Interest rate.
Mortgage, money, yeah. That's a
a
good
lot
way
more
of looking at it
literal.
because I don't stay awake thinking about like like snakes and like
No,
scary
those-
dogs.
Yeah.
But
Unless you're like you newly arrived in Australia.
Yeah.
That was like me with spiders. I was like, why the fuck am I here? Oh my god.
But yeah, like in
Never
terms of
saw
keeping you awake at night, kind of scared. Yeah, like I think money related stuff.
I think
is
finances.
probably-
Finances.
Finances.
But for given all the turmoil and
Economic
everything,
instability. I feel like that's a very justifiable fear. That
I would say that, and like if you're managing like your employees, like not like kind of
if you're a
conforming.
good manager, maybe.
But see, that's when I know if work is keeping me awake out of fear and anxiety, that's when it's time for me to change.
Yeah.
Not
Peace out.
necessarily leave the company, but look for other
Reevaluate.
opportunities.
Sure.
And I think in general, another fear is fear of unknown, whether it's
Yeah.
work, whether it's anyway. If in professionally, what fears me, one of the biggest fear that I have is something must be cooking, or I could sense something is cooking at the back. They're gonna reshuffle the team or do this. If I do not know about the full picture of it, I get bits and pieces of it. That's another fear. That are they
That's
making
like
changes or
that's
anything
like a
is gonna
trust
happen?
issue though. That might be a company culture issue where they're like not nurturing.
And sometimes they cannot probably
trust.
disclose everything, right?
Yeah.
To
Yeah, not everyone. Yeah.
Not-
it's
Yeah,
not, it's
because
not a
they-
public news.
Yeah.
It's but you could sense it being around. You could sense it. Okay,
Yeah,
something
you
is
can
happening. but
Read
you-
between the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Which is another
intuitive.
topic we talked about.
Yeah, that's a good
But it'll
one.
be interesting for those watching to comment and tell us what their fears are. What keeps you guys up at night?